Today we are finally out in the shop before it is 100 degrees. And today's plan, I'm up early enough, I'm going to try to make a couple tools. Make something I can hold this with while I paint it. Make a scraper. I have some metal I'd like to use to make, a wood scraper so I can scrape wood. Luckily, like I said, we're in the shop before it's 500 degrees like it was yesterday. And if I work fast, then we can get this finished. So here we go. All right, so my first tool, like I said, I'm gonna make is a scraper. And I cut this piece of metal off of a plate I had, and I'm just going to put a radius here, clean it up, get the burrs off. You get these little metal burrs from the angle grinder. I'm gonna use my 2x82 belt sander, clean it up, and then I'll have a scraper. All right, we were talking about tools that we were gonna make, and I made this handle that I'm going to screw into the body. Well, not in the body, but through the holes into this. Now, is it ugly? Yeah. It's in its prototype stage, we'll call it. It's literally just a little 1x that I just cut out, filed, and belt sanded to fit. Now, if you look close right here, I don't want this to touch the edges because when I paint, I don't want it to stick and connect, and then when I pull it off, it peels the paint off. So, and here it is, the Hillbilly Painter stick holder, guitar holder, apparatus 2.0. Yeah. Next, I'm going to show you this absolutely wonderful piece of equipment I got from a gentleman who was convinced that he was a pirate. He sold me this Delta wood lathe. If you've ever heard of VFD, variable frequency drive, this is not one. This is one gear with some pulley systems. Very cool. Anyway, I've turned this wood lathe into multi-purpose item. It's a paint stirrer, as you can see. I'm gonna turn it into my coil wrapper. I bought this wonderful thing also from the same guy that sold me this lathe. Anyway, he said he got this from Kentucky, from a flea market in Kentucky. I'm not sure. It looks like it came from Kentucky. Anyway, what it is a Revolution counter with a LCD display, a prox sensor, proximity switch that counts rotations every time something about science, something. Yeah, there it is. It's right there. It's not rocket science. Anyway, moral of the story is, if you have stuff, use it. You don't need to go buy a coil turner if you have this. You don't need to buy a paint stirrer. It's an all-in-one tool. 100% safe, I'm sure. The next step is to apply this grain sealer. And all you do is just smear it on. And it's probably gonna stain it. I don't know. Definitely gonna stain it. Just put a little bit on. All right, we've got that side done. Now we wait. This side's dry now. I took a time lapse so we could watch as the sealer evaporated, and it was supposed to go from a wet look to a dry look. Now, that didn't happen, and I think the reason is because it is a walnut color. So really, it just looks like it stained it. Now, that's fine, but just something to be aware of is, wow, look at that. That this you won't see the color change with the dark walnut color. Normally it's clear, and so you'll see the wood, it'll look wet, and then up here dry. But not this one, because it's, you know, dark. So here we go. We're just gonna keep going. Oxford sealer. Dark walnut. That's what it looks like. All right, so this next part, while I'm still letting this cure, I'm going to go ahead and figure out the mounting for this piece. So I'm gonna get it just close to where I want it. Hopefully you can see it. And again, I don't want to touch the corners, so I'm just gonna get it close. I'm going to clamp it down like so. All right. Now I can take this Forstner bit that's close to the same size of this hole and just push it through. Give it a little twist. Kind of score my holes, hopefully. And this one, I can't get that hole, but that's fine. And hopefully that did the trick. Yeah. So now I have holes marked. All right, now I'm gonna just run some wood screws on the back. This guitar has a mounting plate, so it's okay if I assume there's a little bit of spot that doesn't get completely painted. I don't really know how to go around this, like how to avoid this. Maybe you're supposed to screw it from the top. And if you're like me and you have them just, you know, things sitting everywhere, why would we ever have a T15 torque bit random screw that's impossible to find the bit, but somehow I magically found it? Anyway, now the next step from here is I'm gonna hit everything with this flat white primer just to kind of, you know, really cover up everything. Then that should expose where there's going to be potentially more issues, like back here, some low spots, and wherever else there's low spots. But next step is the primer, flat white primer. And you can see I got some schmoo at the top. I believe that is either built up sealer or grain filler or epoxy. So there's actually quite a bit of schmoo. See in the light, you can see it really good. Could also be this. Don't know, but we'll let it dry and we will come back to it shortly. We'll let it dry and I'll sand it, then we'll do it again. Been out here since 8 o'clock. No, I've been out here since 6. And so it was a wise decision. It's not 105 degrees. And it just goes to show you that the early bird gets worms. Yep, early bird gets worms. All right, so a mistake was made. I think I didn't wait long enough for it to dry. And maybe I didn't wait long enough for the wood grain filler to dry, because you can see when I sanded it, like big chunks come off. I didn't wait long enough for sure, but lesson learned. Maybe I'm gonna go ahead, probably dumb, but go ahead and put another coat on it and then leave it overnight and let it really, really harden. Should be no problem. It's only 83 now, but it will get hotter, so yeah, lesson learned. Just let your primer coat dry. Sand it later. So that's where we're gonna end it at for the moment. My next step after this is gonna be to sand it. You remember I was telling you about the little holes. Can't really see them. You can see where, yeah, see those right there. So I'll probably sand it and I'll try to fill those in again, maybe tomorrow. But yeah, it looks pretty good, all things considered. I have learned something, is that this is very hard to paint like this. Trying to get up here is difficult, and just holding this thing out. I don't know what this body weighs, 5 or 6 pounds, but that is heavy when you're out here trying to get it, you know? So yeah, lesson learned. Maybe we'll reinvent the wheel again and try to make something easier, because that's difficult. But yeah, see you tomorrow, and we'll try to get this thing green.